Hello, and today we are going to be starting a new bullet journal. I know, this is just par for the course for me. I have been bullet journaling for quite some time now, but what I bullet journal in has shifted and changed. And I started out with a Leuchtturm, which is kind of similar in style to this, and that's what I started doing it in. And then I tried it in Midori for a little while, and then I did it in a disc-bound system, and then I started to do it in an actual planner. And this is a bad example because, well, there's a little bit in there. I still do the same bullet journal style, but I just do it in a planner. But it has not been working for me since the beginning of the year very well. And I think some of it is because right now my schedule is really crazy. And I have a ton of color and paint and just color and just a lot of things going on with my Oracle deck, as well as then just my regular job, my Truth and Story job, and it's just a little bit hectic right now. And so for me, almost the beautiful color, which is what drew me to this in the fall and the in early winter, is almost too much for me. It's like I just need to pare it back down to just a clean bullet journal. And so I decided, okay, just put this on hold. It's not going anywhere. It's beautiful, and I'm just going to put it on hold for a little bit, and I'm just going to get a clean bullet journal, go back to the basics. And so I started to pull this off, and I thought, oh, it's stuck on here. I should just show what I've got. So I ended up ordering a Dingbats. It's an A5 Plus 100 GSM cream paper, dotted. It does have a light perforation, although from what I've understood from people, it doesn't cause any issues. It doesn't come out or anything like that. This is made in Lebanon, but I got it on Amazon. And it has, they have one that I really went back and forth with. There's a beautiful soft gray one with an elephant on the front that I absolutely loved. But I've been working a lot with Bear Energy, and I love that sort of energy, and it's very grounding, earthy, and that's what I need this to be for me. So I decided to opt for this. So you can see it's sort of a pebbly texture leather here, and it has the little band that goes around it, which I do like. It does have a bookmark right here. It has a black bookmark, and it's got little paws on the front of this, and then it does not have any page numbers. It doesn't have a built-in index page, but I just start an index right here, and it's the index page, right? So this is the one that I decided to go with. And I think that I love the dots here are nice and visible, but not obnoxious, and look like a good size. It does have the back pocket in it, as you see with the Leuchtturm, and I think also a couple different, these style of journals have these sort of paper pockets in the back, which are nice just to slide little things into. So that's what I decided to get. Hello, Bear. Hello, Bear. So I've gathered my journal. I want to keep it pretty simple. I love microns. I use microns. They don't bleed. If I do put a little bit of water onto it, or if I swatch markers or water-based markers or something, they just don't bleed. And I really like microns. So I have an 01, 03, 05, and a brush. You can get these as a set very often. I have these all over my apartment. I have them in my art station for painting and sketching. I have them on my desk. I have them everywhere. And I have them over here on the side of my reading table. So I'm a big fan of Micron pens. So I have those. And then I just picked some Tombow. These are sort of brush markers. And I just picked can't count, 5 just really light, almost highlighter colors. So the first thing that I'll do is start the index page, and I actually like to split it in half. I don't index a whole heck of a lot, so one page is going to be enough, but all I'm going to do is write index. And I try not to overly worry. Index. And so that's the first start. Now I've already put some dots here because I need to make my year at a glance spread, because there's not as much forward planning, although you'll see that I actually do make some forward planning in on my bullet journals, but I do like to see a year at a glance, and so I am going to set that up, and I've kind of figured out how I was going to set that up. And so that's what I'm going to do here. And so I've made some dots. It's a very good when you first get your journal to figure out how many dots you have across, how many boxes. If you have either a graph or a dot grid, which I really prefer. I actually prefer the graph grid more than I prefer the dot. I don't know why I got the dot. I don't think I was paying too much attention, but either one works for me because I do like to be able to follow the lines, but the dots are a little bit less obtrusive. But it's really important to have that, and it's something you're probably going to want to stick in the front of your journal because you refer to that a lot if you're going to do any kind of making graphs. Having some kind of a ruler or straight edge is also very helpful, and certainly having one that is see-through, in my opinion, is even more helpful. So I tend to, when I'm doing my lines and things, I tend to use the size 3 for the microns, but obviously everybody's going to have different ideas of what they like. And of course, always remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. You are going to, I don't like how bumpily the side of this particular ruler is, but you're going to have errors. You're going to mess up. It's going to happen. It's for use. It's for getting the best use and gaining the information that you need. And you'll see I haven't gone all the way to the middle, and that's because I wanted to split into 3, so it's 27, and plus it's right on the perforation, which is not something that I prefer. Sometimes I'll go all the way in. It just depends on if I'm going across the whole spread. So I tend to frame in. I don't even think I'm in frame. I tend to frame in the whole outer edge of something before I go into the middle. But obviously everybody will come up with their own things that works for them. And oftentimes these first few pages you don't have as much behind it. I don't know if I'm going to continue to use this particular ruler because it's got like a bumpily feel to it. I'm going to go ahead and go down the columns. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do 6 on one side and 6 on the other. And then I've left room for a title along the top. And the point of this spread is just to give you, or give me, a place to kind of put in things that I know over the course of the year are going to take place. So now I have my 12 boxes. And one of the things that I do is I love to just go on to, if you just go onto Google search, and this is where I found this, is just Google search, year ahead spreads, bullet journal, and then put on the images and find something that you like. I knew I wanted something fairly simple, but find something that you like, and then you can go ahead and recreate it. Oops, I see I didn't come all the way over here. And some people don't even use rulers, but I do like my lines to be straight. So I am going to leave 2 lines to put sort of the header, but then I'm going to do sort of a week thing, a little mini calendar. I've kind of gone back and forth whether I want things to start with Sunday or Monday, but most calendars tend to start with the Sunday, along the top here. And so I think I am going to do that so that it is kind of consistent across other calendars that I might look at. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means 1 on either side. So I'm just putting in, on this I'm going to actually switch. No, because this is the header, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this. So I'm going to have an S for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. Just like that. And then I can do that all the way across. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now I am going to go down to the 101 micron because there's a double number, so giving myself that extra is going to help. And so I'm going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. So I've just gone through and written it down. So I have this sort of all of the months here, or all of the days going through, but I still have a little bit of room because, again, I don't write a lot on here. It's just for more large things that I need to be aware of, and so that gives me plenty of room. So I'm going to go ahead and do all those, and then I'll be back. Okay, I am back, and I've done some things on this. I've also sort of narrowed down the things that I ended up using so I could show you. But I did want to show you that if you Google what it is you're looking for, you can find ideas for how you might want to approach something. And one of the nice things about bullet journals is because you're not doing like the whole year ahead. If something doesn't work for you 1 week or 1 month, you just can change it up and see what works the next month. Now, I've done bullet journaling for quite some time now, so I pretty well know what works. This was something new that I wanted to try though, which we'll look at. So I just screenshot it and I put a circle around what interested me about something. Again, this is the same type of thing. I ended up going much more like this particular version of it. But obviously, the typical bullet journal month just runs this bar down the side. But I liked the idea. I never would use up the whole page. And I like the idea of being able to split up the, which I'll show you. Be able to split up and make better use of the whole page. I really liked the look of this for a monthly also, so you'll see that I did something similar to this. I think this is just it zoomed in on. I think that's it. So you can find things that work for you and sort of save ideas down. Obviously, you're not selling this. It's just being used for your own personal use. So now the color is all wonky and off. Let me turn this other light on. It's now much later than it was earlier, so the color or the lighting has changed. So I ended up deciding, at least for this month, I'm just sticking with two sort of highlighters, a really pale gray and a pale purple. And so I do have also a pale or a purple micron that I'm using very sparingly. And then, as I said before, oops, I don't need that. As I said before, I'm using 135 and the brush pen in different capacities of black micron. And of course, I highly suggest having a correction pen, because you will make mistakes. And or also, like I use these for my paintings, these Uniballs. These are nice to fix corrections. You can't write over it quite as well, but those are things I had out to make corrections where I messed up. And of course, a ruler, very helpful. So these are pretty much the things that I used in the creating of this journal, of this version. Of course, need to put my name in front of that. I have already added some things into the index. Let's zoom in a little bit further. I haven't put any personal information in here, so that's why I wanted to do this before I started filling things out. But you'll see that you don't have to put every single page, just things that are important, like this yearly Truth and Story yearly overview is something I return to year at a glance, and then I put where each month starts. I will index that in, but I don't index every single thing that I do. This is my year at a glance. I am terrible at writing fancy print. I would love to learn beautiful script writing. I don't have time to try to learn something else. I do think you can get apps for it on my iPad, and I may put something on just when I'm laying in bed and trying to go to sleep, so that, because I would really like to be able to do pretty fonts, but I'm no good at it, so I've given up on it. I've gone with this format, so I have the month here, which I may not need, but I thought it looked cool. And then important dates, so purple here are birthdays. So for example, my son's birthday, my daughter's birthday, but you know, whether or not I migrate all birthdays into this place. I have a lot. I have a big family, so I'm not sure. Maybe just the main ones, but this is also for if something comes up and in June I know I'm going to have XYZ happening, I can put that in even though there's no place to put that right now because I don't have June. It allows me to put forward planning in and be able to then, when I start, let's say I wrote something in June, when I go to start June, I would take a look here and see if there's anything I need to put in when I'm there. So it's your way of forward planning. In a regular bullet journal, you split, I believe, I still think it's 2 pages, you split them in half, or else it's split in, I can't remember. I will put a link below. I have a video about how to set up a standard bullet journal, and then I also have, I'll put a link to the official bullet journal site, because that walks you through step by step how to set up a traditional one. Mine's, you know, I've got some things that I just know work for me, and so I've changed those, although I've tried to keep it quite clean. Keeping with yearly things in one place, this is a Wheel of the Year with the solstices, equinox, cross quarters, and then the new and full moons of the year that Patrick actually made up. This is something we've been working on for a while, and so he had made up this graphic here. Also some things that I'm doing throughout those quarters that I want to keep track of, so that's a yearly thing, so I put that here. I just printed this out and glued it in. because I didn't want to redraw it. I like it how it is. So that's how I did that. This is a yearly. I haven't filled in any information because obviously I wanted to be able to show it. This is something that I do refer to a lot from 16, 17, and 18 with my business, just so that I can see, you know, whether things are up or down, you know, sorry for that. It just helps me to keep track of how growth and things of that nature. So I have that in again with the beginning, because it's all stuff that is yearly. So I tried to keep that together. And then I used to do a full month spread like this across 2 pages, but I really don't need that. I don't put a ton of information, but I do like to have a calendar format. I did this a little differently where it's got the, I showed you that where I took that from. It has the weeks on the side, and then it just has it in pale color, so then you can write over it. So for example, I have in purple my son's birthday. I have rent on the 1st, or I had rent on the 1st. I'll fill in other bills, but this is more personal and this is more business. And so business-wise, I have some for my other job that I have to make sure I check off every day starting on Monday, and so I put a spot so I can visually check that off. I can see as my schedule for reading starts to fill into the month, I can see that at a glance, and other business things like when I do videos, classes, you know, all that kind of stuff like that. I don't know that this per se is going to give me enough room, and I may have to rethink this, because if I have also videos on the same day, mostly Saturday, that's going to be a problem. So I'm not going to worry about it too much right now, but I'm trying this out for this month to see how this works. And then I've done weeklies. I don't do dailies per se. Like, I don't just start a day and give myself until I'm done and then start another day. I tend to just work off of weeklies where I have every single day. It's usually plenty enough space for me. And so I've used this format for quite some time before I switched to using my planner, and it works really well for me. So for right now, I'm sticking with what I know. I did this week, of course this week's almost over, but I wanted to put this in because I've got some stuff I need to add into here, just so I have it starting from the month, and plus so you could see it. But I also wanted to show you that, like, I thought, you know, it'd be nice to have the moon in its sign and the sun in its sign. I don't like how big they are here, but one of the nice things about a bullet journal is that generally you're doing it a week at a time. Some people do fill out the whole month. But if you don't, so next week, I can try a different way of doing that and seeing how I like it better, because I don't really like the way that looks. And it's like, okay, that's all right. I didn't really like how it looks, so I'm going to figure something out for next week. Now, I probably will go through and just frame out the next 2 weeks, although I usually do it on Sundays, as I'll sit down and make it for the next week. But that was when I was also playing with dailies, and since I really work primarily with weeklies, there's really no reason I can't have the month ahead prepared. So I'll probably just go ahead and do that, although I won't do anything additional things like this, because I'll let that be able to shift and change over the week. So, you know, basically I'll have 2 more weekly layouts in March, or however many it ends up being, and then that's it. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to manage collections and things like that. I have other places to do that in, and this may just be my planner, or I also may start at the back and start working my way this way with collections, and that keeps all of my planner stuff together on one side and keeps any collection-y kind of things on the other side, and they can sort of meet in the middle. I did that in one of mine, and I did like that a little bit better than having it interspersed throughout here. So I don't know, I'm still thinking about that, but this week is starting obviously in 2 days. So I went ahead and just got that in, and I'll think on how I want to go any further. So again, I've done bullet journaling for quite some time. I know what works for me. I know what doesn't work for me. You'll have to sort of if you're new to it, you'll have to sort of suss out what works. But I know right now what I need is organization. I need to kind of be clean and simple. Like even this kind of agitated me but then once I started, it was like, okay, I have to finish it. But visually, it was agitating me because I'm just in the need for just clean, minimal, or, write my things out and not no muss, no fuss. And so that's just what I need right now. As the year progresses, it may get more colors and things like that. I've done very, very colorful ones, and right now I'm just kind of feeling this. I will say this particular book does have perforated pages, and I really messed up on a page. Now, I do have mess ups here, and I don't usually worry about it. I will just put white out and fix it. Like this is actually quite messed up. I just whited it out and did the best I could. I don't stress about it too much, but this was really messed up. It was actually this page, and I got the dates completely off because that's really easy to do. And so I just pulled it out to see, is that something, it's not something I would want to do very often because it does actually stick out further than I would like. But I have to say, having that option is kind of nice. So, but it's not something, again, I don't stress completely about mess ups. I just white it out and go on. This is supposed to be functional. Nobody looks at this except for me and obviously all of you who are watching this, but this is for me and for me to stay organized. So I do like it to be fairly neat, but it's really about function more than it is about the way that it looks. So there we have it. I thought I would kind of show you where I'm resetting up. If you've watched my other videos, you've kind of seen the progression, but I'm a huge fan of the bullet journal system. And when I start to feel unorganized and discombobulated, I can usually always pause and say, you know what? I haven't been bullet journaling. Wherever I'm doing it in, I haven't been bullet journaling, and I can tell when I start to really get feeling unorganized. I start missing things start sliding through the cracks, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I haven't been bullet journaling, and I can tell that. So it's just one of those things that sometimes, you get yourself off course, and then you're just like, all right, it's time to, get back on course, because this is not a pretty sight here. So there we have it. My bullet journal. Most of the time when I'm writing, not like mapping it out, but writing, I do like the one. So you'll see that most often in terms of my microns, when I'm drawing lines, I'm usually using the 03. When I'm writing when I'm writing stuff, I'm generally using the 1, and then if I'm doing headers, I'm usually doing the 5. It's just a little bit more bold. And then the brush is just sort of for these shadows here. And then I did it a little bit here just to try to make that stand out a little bit more, very messily. So that tends to be how I use it. 3 for lines, 1 for just regular writing, 5 for header writing, and brushes for shadows and effects. So what I will actually keep, I don't know if it will fit, because some of these aren't the greatest. And sometimes it just needs to break in. Oh, yep, it does. So what I would keep in here would be a number 1, because that's what I tend to write with. So that is that. I hope that this was interesting in some degree. And that has to go back on my table. That can stay here. And then this will just go near I have actually a little container that has like tarot stuff on the side of my thing. But this side right here, which I need to clear out, is right next to where I sit on my couch. And so all of this will go into here so that I can easily reach it when I'm sitting on the couch, which is generally where I am bullet journaling. So I will be clearing all of this stuff out, putting it back where it belongs, and putting this over here so that I am ready to bullet journal whenever the mood strikes. And this is going back here. So there we have it. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day.